G'day guys, welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Tape, a podcast where we focus on people doing rad things in the mountain bike industry, whether that's in Australia, overseas, bit of everything. But yeah, talk to media, talk to riders, talk to people doing absolutely amazing things. The latest guest, this guest is one of the latter. Matthew Fairbrother is one of the most inspiring people I've ever had the chance to talk to, and he's only just turned 18. He wanted to race some EWS, didn't have the money to do all of them. So basically, he bought some bike packing bags, strapped into his enduro bike, rode to every round, and man, he has some amazing stories, and his mindset around it all is absolutely amazing. Before we jump into the podcast, though, I'd like to thank our supporters. First up, we've got Trek. Trek makes some damn amazing bikes. Everything from junior pre-calibers all the way up to your absolutely pinned downhill bikes like the Session or super lightweight super bikes like the Super Caliber. If you're after a mountain bike, they've got you covered. Their range is phenomenal. Everything from their $500-$600 Marlin right through to their $10,000 bikes, all screen quality. They all come with the same amount of amazing care and after-sales support. And, man, they just do the best they possibly can on every single bike. So whether you're a mum that wants to ride with the kids, dad that wants to putt around the backyard, or someone that's really wanting to take on the world, Trek have a bike for you. So go to trek.com and check out their full range. If you've currently got a bike and it feels pretty average because your suspension is barely working, I had a couple come to the shop this week that might as well have been rigid. Hit up NS Dynamics. These guys are the number one suspension servicing company in Australia, and after doing it for 20 plus years, you'd think they'd know a thing or two. Their servicing is second to none. Turnaround time is absolutely phenomenal, and they'll have your bike working better than you. So head over to nsdynamics.com.au, book in a service, send her off, have it come back, and your bike will be absolutely amazing. Once you got your suspension dialed, or perhaps you're on that new Trek, hit up Tailored Trails for the ultimate Tasmanian riding experience. These guys not only offer custom tours around Tassie to get you everywhere you possibly can, they will offer you coaching. They offer guided tours. They will tell you which tracks are rad, which tracks are not quite running great. They just give you that insider local knowledge that you can't pass up with every ride. So if you want to take all the stress, all the guessing out of your riding, hit up Tailored Trails for an ultimate Tassie experience. If you're looking to look after your bike, hit up Lead Out Sports. These guys have the best tools possibly known to man. Not just stuff that you can use in your home workshop, but every now and then they have shop quality tools that will get your bike running better than you. Abbey, Pedro's, smooth lubes, backcountry research straps if you need to strap that tool to your bike. They just offer a bunch of stuff that is really, really useful, high quality stuff. So head out to leadoutsports.com.au and hit up them for some new tools. Frank offer really, really high quality clothing to keep you looking good, but also riding in the most comfort possible. I'm a huge, huge fan of their AirTech jerseys. They're super lightweight, super breathable, and look damn rad. Even in the hotter days, which, man, I can't wait till they come, they breathe really, really well. I can't state that enough. And if you want to get even better value, make sure you use Beyond the Tape 10 at checkout in the coupon code. Get yourself 10% off. If it's wet and raining and you don't want to get all that mud, or what looks like mud but is probably worse, in your eyes, hit up dirtsurfers.com. These guys make custom 100% recyclable, 100% recycled materials used, fully environmentally friendly. They will keep the mud out of your eyes forever. They are some of the toughest mud guards I have ever used. Australian made, and if you want, you can even get your own custom design. If you do get muddy, make sure you use Crush Afterwash or their super, super amazing bike wash. Like, honestly, I can't state that enough. Been using some others at work. Ruins my hands, ruins my skin. This stuff is really, really soft. Love working with it, and it keeps your bike damn clean. And I mean, if you want to keep your hands protected while riding as well, fist gloves, can't go past them. As we're getting into the hot weather, the breezer gloves are damn amazing. Perforated tops that keep your hands cool while riding. There's some perforation through the palms and through the contact points, but it's not enough to kind of bunch up or feel average. Hit up Fist at fist.com.au. Anyway, that's enough of me blabbering on for this intro. So grab a beer, grab water, grab a wine, grab whatever makes you happy, and strap in because this is a damn good episode. No questions and stuff?
Yeah, you can jump in.
Easy, man. Well, yeah. Matt Fairbrother, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Usually, yeah, tell us a bit about yourself and who you are and why I've kind of asked you on.
Well, yeah, where do we start? So I'm 18, live in the South Island of New Zealand, and yeah, I'm a big fan of bikes. It's basically all I do, all I know how to do, and yeah, there's not much else to me.
Man, it's so humble. For those that don't know, like you did the EWS season this year. Was this your first EWS season?
Yeah, it's my first season overseas.
That makes it even more insane. But you basically bike packed the whole season, yeah?
Yeah, all of what was possible. Yeah.
Where did that decision come from, man? Like, at what point do you go, let's ride to every race as well?
Yeah, so, we'll go way back to the beginning then. I guess it was a few months before the season had kind of started that I decided I was going to commit to heading overseas. It had kind of been a goal of mine for maybe a year. But before that, so I committed to going, booked the flights, booked all that. Ended up in Scotland, and you know I'm quite young, haven't been overseas before, no one over there, and I can't hire a car, yet alone I can't afford to hire a van or something. So I kind of just I thought I'd work it out as I went, and it's a week before the first EWS in Scotland, and I bump into Win Masters, and get chatting to him and kind of mentioned that I had no way of getting to Slovenia, which was the next EWS. And I think he just mentioned that I should bike to Slovenia. And like kind of looking up to Win, I just said, yes, I'll bike there. Kind of as a joke, but I knew it wasn't a joke. So I committed to it then and there, not knowing how far I had to pedal, not knowing kind of what it entailed, but I was doing it. And I had about 6 days to get my stuff together and set off.
That's such a New Zealander thing to do, let alone like a Win Masters thing to do. Just like, let's just wing it and ride there. It's
definitely quite a bit of winging it in that situation.
What did you get ready and how did you kind of prepare in 6 days to undergo like setting up your bike and getting ready and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I was quite lucky. I was staying with one of the owners of Deviate, who Deviate support me. So he was quite good at kind of all the logistics side of it. So he ended up getting me some bike bags. I think we ordered them off Amazon and got them shipped to his house. But it was that weekend was Jubilee weekend.
Okay.
In the UK. So my stuff didn't end up getting there in time before we left for Tweed Valley. So I had no gear at all. So he ended up going into, I think it was Glasgow, and going to all these shops and ended up finding some bike bags for me. And then this was on Sunday, the day I was meant to leave Tweed Valley. And he turned up at about 4 in the afternoon just as I finished with these bike bags. And I just had to accept what I got given. And it ended up working out okay, but couldn't have been more chaotic in the lead up to it.
Dude, it's like your first race in the international, first time overseas, you're racing the EWS and you don't even know if you got bags to get to the next spot.
Exactly. Like Yeah, I was meant to be competing, but I was doing more organising. Yeah, I was organising the commute and the liaisons. I was like scared I was going to have no bags to pedal with. And yeah, this was also the first time I'd ever bike packed and kind of my first time overseas. So I had no idea what that involved. And yeah, I would be lying if I wasn't scared of what was to come.
Was it almost better that it was kind of unknown because you didn't know what you had to prepare for? So you just went with it?
Yeah, somewhat. I think being a Kiwi, there's, you're kind of good at just going with the flow and just, just taking what comes at you. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a lot to think about and quite a lot to take in.
So when you were so you bike packed on the same bike, so you were just riding your enduro bike from everywhere to everywhere, and just full of bags?
Yeah, exactly. So the same bike, the only thing I changed was the tires. I swapped them over to slicks, and they also had a spare cassette and chain. So I'd swap those over, so I kept a good set for when I was competing. Because as you can imagine, they'd just wear out with all those Ks and end up slipping under power, which you don't want when you're competing.
Racing.
Yeah, exactly.
And you would have cooked. How long did that chain last? Like the whole trip for your bike packing?
Yeah. So it ended up doing the whole season, but by the end of the season, there wasn't a single gear it didn't slip in, and like going at like an intersection, I'd have to be super careful because if I stood up or put down too much power, it would just slip. So like when I was stopping and then starting, I would have to like slowly get up to speed and just make sure that I don't put too much power down.
You're ridiculous.
And like if a hill was too steep, it would just slip as well. So yeah, I was having to walk the steeper hills at the end of it.
Man, that's insane.
Yeah.
So your cassette and chain were just completely cooked by the end of it.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah.
How was the first EWS race for you? How'd that go?
Yeah, it was quite a cool moment, I think. I was just super happy to kind of, in a way, like tick off the big goal in line, which was getting overseas and doing an EWS. So yeah, I was quite stoked. And I guess there's live timing, so you can kind of see how you're doing. And a couple of times when I was doing a lot better than I thought I would, I was sitting in the top 10 for most of the day until the last stage when I had a bit of a mechanical, snapped a hanger. And then I got bumped back to 11th, which for my first EWS, and I was only 17 at the time and under 21. I was quite happy with that, and it's a good start, I think.
Dude, you're so modest. Like you just top 10 in your first EWS race in today's racing is insane.
Yeah, cheers.
Like, because that's like, who was in that? That was Gilchrist. You got like the Mike Smith bros. Like you got a fairly stacked field, right?
Yeah, some big competition in there.
Did you kind of get starstruck by anyone at your first race? Were you just kind of taking it all in?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I guess you're seeing all these people you see when you're younger on TV and these videos, and you work out they're still people, they're still humans, and that's it's kind of weird just seeing that they are people.
And what was it like? Like Tweed Valley looked really narrow and tight and stuff. Was that something similar to what you ride at home, or was it a completely different experience for you?
Yeah, somewhat. I think Tweed Valley, looking back at the whole season, may have been the most similar to what I've got at home. It's super fast, super loose, and it's fairly tight.
Yeah.
And I think the speed at which you're going is like what's most similar to what I have at home here.
Because I saw like a lot of riders were cutting their bars down and stuff to navigate those trees.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I just stuck with the same setup, I know. Yeah, I'm kind of a low admin guy. I don't like thinking much. I just get on with it.
I get that vibe, man. I rate it. So, like, you finished up like 11th. You must have been pretty stoked. But then you've just raced a pretty damn hard race, and you're looking at your bike all packed up, and does it sink in? You've got to ride, was it a few 100 Ks straight up?
Yeah, so I guess the stoke didn't quite set in. I was quite panicked because, as I just mentioned, I'd snapped a hanger and the mech had gone into my spokes and like snapped it off. So basically, I had no way of pedaling there.
Yep.
I ended up, I pestered a few people and managed to get that sorted.
Yep.
I think, lots of people were quite stoked to hear what I was doing, although they thought it was quite stupid and just didn't believe that I'd be able to pull it off. But yeah, did a bit of convincing. They managed to find all my bike packing bags and it started all kind of coming together. And I don't know, I was kind of excited for what was to come. There's quite a big build up to it.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it sounds epic, especially like considering 8-10 days ago you were still at home and you're looking for bags and stuff, right? And now you're there.
Yeah, for sure.
Were you completely self-sufficient on the bike? Did you have like stove, cooker and everything like that, or were you hoteling it?
Yeah, so I had all the stuff on my bike that I needed to survive, basically. There was no outside support. I was completely by myself.
And it's your first time ever doing it?
Yeah, first time ever bike packing, first time overseas. Just chucked myself in the deep end.
Dude, yeah, that's insane. Because there's a lot of planning and packing and research to be done usually when it comes to bike packing and finding the light stuff. So
yeah, well, I mean, for me it was kind of easy because in the end I didn't have a choice of what I could take. It was just down what I was given. So that kind of made it easy. And
that's so good
in terms of that.
So how many Ks did you have to pedal for Lenaleithen to where was the next race? That was
it was in Slovenia.
Yeah, Betson.
Yeah, Pitsan/Jamnica.
Yeah.
That was 1.5 thousand kilometers.
Yeah, right. So
yeah.
how did you kind of break that up? And I'm guessing it wasn't flat either.
It was a lot flatter than I thought it was going to be fair. I was only in the UK for a short time, and that's just mostly small hills. It's kind of flat in the UK, I found. It's up or down, but no huge hills. And then Netherlands, when I got there, that was completely flat. Mm-hmm. Germany was quite flat. It was when, I got into Switzerland, into the Alps, and that was, some big hills in there. That killed the legs. And then that was kind of it over the other side of the Alps, and then I was there.
How many Ks a day were you doing at that point?
Or I think I did it in 6 days of biking total.
Yep.
So I don't know what that works out to be. I think 250 most days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
On a packed up enduro bike.
The bike weighed 34 kg, and
How tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I'm 70 kg and 168 centimeters.
Yeah. So bike's half your weight. That's insane.
Yeah, exactly.
That's big. And like it didn't start smoothly by the sounds of it all, but then it kind of had that little hiccup as well. Like your first day you tried to get on the ferry and they wouldn't let you.
Yeah. So it turns out you can fly over there being a minor, being under 18, but you can't board the boat being under 18.
What?
Exactly. So I had to give my mum and dad an emergency call when it was like maybe 2 a.m. here in New Zealand. And I needed a photocopy of their passport and permission saying I could board the vessel and that I wasn't escaping them or whatever. Yeah.
How did they just wake up, or was it like an effort to get them to get up? Or?
Yeah, my other issue was I had no SIM card or data.
Yep.
So it was basically just asking lots of people if I could use their phone, if I could use their hotspot. And I ended up using someone's hotspot and just calling them over Facebook Messenger. And it was just a huge panic because it felt like ages for them to end up me. And I got there a few hours early, and by the time I got on the boat, I had 15 minutes to spare.
Yeah, right.
So watching the time count down, and yeah, that was awful.
Were you just like panicking that was all going to be over like first night?
I thought it was over. Just boom, like that, done.
What did your parents think of all this? Like, obviously they might be worried or something, and then you're calling them like at 2 a.m. in the morning on your first trip. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're completely stoked on the whole thing, but I mean,
yep.
I kind of told them what I was doing and, you know, what the potential benefits could be. And I think they kind of saw the light a little bit, but I never think that they were fully okay with the whole thing.
Are they okay with it now that you've done it?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, I think they're stoked that it worked out, but I don't think that they'll be stoked for me to do it again. Yeah.
So so Petson's like 1,500 kilometers away, as you said. Are you like racing the next day, or like when you rock up, or how's that kind of go?
So I wanted to get there early to give myself a few days off.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I got there a few days early, I kind of know enough about my body that I knew I needed to keep pedaling. Mm-hmm. So I get there, and I think each day leading up until the EWS, I did 2,000 meters of climbing, just kind of be in the local spot, just to keep the legs ticking over. So
mate, that's enough to put me in a grave.
Like, yeah, but like, at the same, I know it sounds like a lot, but at the same time, I knew that was what was best for me.
Were you kind of worried that, like, if you didn't, your body would just freeze up from doing the 1,500?
Yeah, exactly. It'd shut down, and I wouldn't be able to get up in the morning.
Is this like a regular thing for you to climb 2,000 meters and do those kind of big rides?
I mean, like, no, not exactly, but I do kind of know that my body's a bit of a slow starter.
Okay.
So I guess, I don't know, as an example, like the first 2 days of this whole bikepacking thing, I felt awful. But then the third day, I kind of kicked into gear. I started feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something I learned as I did it more over the season, that I do kind of need to keep my body going. And as soon as I stop it, it's like, yeah, as soon as I stop it, it's had enough and it doesn't want to start again.
Yeah, I completely get that. I think there's a few endurance riders that feel the same. That's pretty interesting. So you're actually riding to just keep loose and stuff, but like, what was it like coming into practice and stuff? Because obviously you're going from riding these slow pedaling kind of endurance style rides for a week or so, and then you're into these high paced sprints and stuff. Was that hard for your body to deal with, or you to deal with?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, as the season as I got further into the season, that definitely developed. But I think in terms of Slovenia, still had the stoke of like, what an awesome opportunity to just be there. So that, I think that overpowered all the fatigue and all that I had, and I was just excited to get into it.
Sorry, man. Could you repeat that answer? The net just dropped out. Sorry, dude.
That's all good. Yeah, in terms of Slovenia and fatigue, I don't think it had fully set in yet, as I was quite excited, as I was, it was still quite new to me, and I was still, I hadn't fully kind of gotten comfortable with the opportunity I had. So, I was excited to make the most of it.
And to come out of that with a 10th, like, did the stoke settle in pretty quickly then? Like,
yeah, well, like, there's kind of more to that. I think on the second stage, I hit a bank and dislocated my finger mid-stage.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, so I did that, and I finished the stage with my pinky just dangling off the side of the bar.
Yeah.
Get to the bottom, pull out some tape I had holding a tube together. It was like, I did it like the worst way you could. It was quite awful. Then the medics see me, they like tape me up fairly good and just tell me I like need to go to the hospital. And I was like, yep. And I just, keep going and finish off the day and get 10th. So yeah, that was quite a cool moment.
I mean, that's one way to put it. Did you was it pain straight away, or did you just get to the bottom?
Yeah, there were worse things hurting. Like my legs were in some states. So yeah, that kind of kept me off. I didn't think too much about my finger. Yeah.
Everything else was burning and hurting way more. Yeah. It was like way in the background.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was quite helpful.
Was it hard to obviously it's hard to ride like that, but you've got 2 fingers now holding the bars.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I've got 2 pinkies, so I mean, yeah, it's so good.
Dude, your attitude is so sick. So yeah, 10th and with a dislocated finger. Did you go to the hospital?
No, I had to get peeling for the next the next one.
Did it heal? Did you pop it back in, or was how'd it go?
Yeah, it was sore and it took a while to get better, but I mean, as soon as you stop thinking about it, you just forget about it.
Yeah.
So it's only when you start thinking about it gets on your mind, and that's when it hurts. But as soon as your mind's kind of occupied with something else, it's gone.
Just that mind over matter works every time.
Yeah, for sure. That's that's just life, isn't it? It's a mind game. Yeah.
You're 18, right? I'm just double checking because you seem so wise.
I don't know about that.
What? How many Ks was it to your next race for that?
I think it was 5,000. So
okay,
felt quite short.
15, 500.
Kind of.
Yeah. And then Val d'Ifassa was a tough one for you.
Yeah, that was a big blowout physically and mentally.
Yeah. How so mentally?
I mean, you've got to be at the top of your game. And, as we kind of touched on then, it's such a mind game. Like mountain biking is I think mostly your mind. It's confidence, it's thinking, decision-making.
Yeah.
And I just didn't quite have it that weekend.
Was it to do with the tracks or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just fatigue, I'd say. Couldn't put much thought into it. I was tired, just making bad decisions. I was too slow with what was coming up with me. My thoughts weren't happening quick enough. Bad judgments. It just, the puzzle wasn't fitting together like it should have.
Do you think did you have a rest day or anything before that, or did you just go through with the?
Yeah, I had one day.
Okay.
But I think at that point it just didn't matter. I was in a big hole either way.
Were you so you're obviously camping and sleeping on the side of the road or finding camp spots?
So I had, there were another peer also bikepacking. So for this league, we joined forces. I bikepacked with them, and for that league we did get Airbnbs along the way.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of worked out because it was cheaper. Yeah.
I was just wondering whether your lack of sleep or whether your mental fatigue from sleep deprivation came into it, or.
Oh yeah, that's a huge part of it. And the week before, I was maybe sleeping 4 or 5 hours a day, and that kind of, when you're active each day, that that doesn't get better. You just stay just as tired, and you just get worse.
That's the same patterns as the guys that race the Indian Pacific Wheel Race or the Rhino Run, which is going on now and stuff. That's the same kind of pacing they do.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not the best idea to then push your limits downhill on.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's flogged.
So was Val d'Ifassa supposed to be your last stop, or you weren't going to head to anywhere else?
No, so I was going to do the first and the third block, or the last block. I was going to miss out Canada and the USA ones just because it was quite a huge expense flying over there and back over. So I was just going to, I don't know. I was just going to stay maybe in Morzine for the couple months and then, get stuck back into it.
But then you ended up in Whistler. Like,
Yeah.
how did that kind of come about?
So Deviate Cycles, they ended up paying for my flights, and they also set up a GoFundMe, which ended up quite a lot of money to help me finish the season. So yeah, all of a sudden I was in Canada at those ones.
Like, obviously, the reason I know about you and a lot of people know about you is they've seen you on Pink Bike, they've seen you on the Instagram, they've seen like all these stories about you. Were you kind of expecting it to blow up the way it did and end up in Canada?
Well, like to a point, I was hoping it would get a bit of exposure to help me, but like not to this level. I've been kind of shocked and haven't known how to handle any of this. So yeah, it's quite overwhelming, and I mean, I don't know how I handled it because I was in such a hole mentally when all this came about. But I was amazed with the support I managed to get out of it.
It's so sick to see the industry getting behind you and doing that, though. Like, instead of just leaving you in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of all ended up being worth it. So
100%.
Yeah.
What was it like is that your first time to Whistler as well, I'm guessing, because you haven't been overseas?
Yeah.
What was it like hitting up the Mecca?
Yeah, it was quite insane as well, because that's the place you watch videos of and hear all about. Like, before you get there, you know what's on the hill, what's in, and you just the whole scene there before you even step foot. So that was quite cool, and first lap today line, and that was basically what I did for the week leading up to it.
So did you just pack all your stuff in a bike box and chuck it on a plane and head over there? Like, how did that go?
I don't have much stuff at all, so basically what like all the stuff I took there was all the stuff I had on my bike.
It's pretty easy, right?
It's just simple, like didn't even need to take a bag on the plane, just chuck it all in the bike box and good to go.
Were you just like, planes are a marvelous thing, these are way easier to travel on than riding your bike? Or was it almost the opposite?
I don't know. It just feels weird. I mean, I'm so wired now that like not doing anything like just eats my mind up.
Yeah.
Just like
you're almost like too idle that you couldn't pedal.
It was awful. But,
dude, I'm 100% the same. I get you.
Yeah, it's quite nice move to pedal.
Did you ride much before the Whistler race weekend? Like, you rock up and...
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, I think a big part of this whole thing is making the most of the opportunity, and I think I did that like as soon as I was doing laps before the bike park opened up at Blackcomb side of the hill.
Yeah.
When the lift opened, I was there like, I think it was 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day.
Jesus. Yeah.
So I think one of the days I did 6,000 meters of climbing, and then bike park laps like all day after that. So it's been a bit silly, but I made the most of it,
I haven't been there, but from what I've heard, like, doing that many laps there is absolutely brutal, and most people can't do that in a day. But you're like backing that up.
I was demolished. But the other, I was telling myself I had a good excuse as well, because I also got a new bike.
Yep.
And I was telling myself I needed to get used to it. So I was like, I had a good excuse, I just needed to get as much time as I could on it.
So is that from Deviate? They hooked you up with a fresh rig?
Yeah. They came out with a new bike mid-season, so they wanted to get me on that.
Yeah, sick.
It was, so stoked with that. Yeah, for sure.
And was it cool racing Whistler, like being there and racing that mountain? Yeah.
I think it's got such a big vibe to it, and it's the mountain bike mecca, as you say. It's, I guess, where we all want to go, isn't it?
Were you there for like crankworks and stuff?
No, so unfortunately the EWS was the first event of that. And then the next EWS was the following weekend, so we all had to leave immediately.
Okay. Yeah. And I remember seeing like a bunch of people saying that you wouldn't be able to ride from Whistler to the next round.
Yeah, so I would have had 4 days to get there, and it would have been 5.4 thousand Ks.
Yep.
So that would have been over 1,000 kilometers each day, which just isn't possible.
No, definitely not possible.
Yeah, I think if I had 2 weeks, I would have given it a nudge, but that still would have been pushing it. That would have been I would have had to go on beast mode for that one, but I would have been keen to give it a go.
It would have been pretty sketchy through some of those areas as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. You just got to deal with it, eh?
Just slap them down and deal with it. Yep.
Yeah. There's not too much point thinking about it. Just deal with it when it comes to you.
So how did you get to that next race?
So I pedaled to Vancouver, got a bike box, and I kind of stitched myself up a little bit. I messaged a couple bike shops to see if they had a bike box going, and it was Stoked Cycles. They got back to me and said they had one. I didn't look on the map whereabouts they were in Vancouver, and I don't know how big Vancouver is. I just saw Vancouver and thought, sweet. So I ended up having to bike 24 kilometers with this bike box to the airport. On my back.
Was it a tailwind or a headwind?
It was like a side wind, which I think was the worst of both.
Yeah.
Because I was just like flapping about with this bike box on my back.
It doesn't look like it was a well set up situation there. I'm looking at the photo now and it looks pretty sketchy.
I think I made quite a good setup out of it, I think.
You did well.
I had a duct tape and a bike tube and it turned into a backpack. The only complaint I had was it just the duct tape wore down into my shoulders and just left me with big kind of like gashes, I guess.
Dude, yep. That's brutal.
But I made it there, so I'm not complaining.
And then, like how much you don't have a power meter or anything on your bike, do you? So you wouldn't know how much extra you had to pay to pedal.
Nah, but it was a slow 24K. It was hard. Yeah. And also the other thing was it was like 5 o'clock-ish. So it was peak hour in the city. And it's busy. And I was quite wide.
Yep.
So there was I had a few cars with the box and got a bit wobbly, and there was a few close calls, but what can you do about it?
Absolutely nothing. Just keep on riding.
Yeah, just don't stop.
So it's pretty notorious, like getting into America can be quite hard. Was it pretty hard to be a New Zealander going from Canada into the US?
Yeah, so I think more what did it for them was my age. I was by myself on a bike, and I guess they could see how long I'd been out of New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I think their big concern was that I was earning money somehow.
Okay.
That's like what they hammered me quite hard on that side. So they wanted to. I also had no data for this. They wanted to see like all my bank statements. Which I had none on paper, all on my phone. They wanted to see my bank balance, which again was on my phone, which I couldn't get to. They asked if I had any cash. I said I had a bit. I pulled out. It was maybe like $10 and change or whatever. That just pissed them off.
Sounds like they just want a bribe. Like legitimately, they just want some money.
Yeah. And what kind of saved me out of that was the pivot boys had passed the day before.
Yeah.
The guys asked me what I was, in the end, like after maybe an hour and a half, they asked me what I was doing, why I was wanting to come into the US. And I told them it was for this, bike competition in Burke. And then the guy starts telling me about how much of a keen mountain biker he is and how he's got a 26-inch fat bike, e-bike, full suspension that, he takes up to Burke Mountain, I think it was. And then he starts going on about how the some loose Kiwis passed the day before, and we kind of just started talking about mountain biking, and it was so obvious he had no clue about bikes or anything, but he was stoked on it, and then we were kind of like mates at that point, and he let me in. Fingers scanned, and I'm good to go.
That's insane. Was it pretty sketchy riding through the US and some of the parts you would have had to ride through, or was it all pretty chill?
Yeah, so basically between Burke and Sugarloaf, I took the exact same way the cars did, for the most part. And that just meant like on highway the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
And that wasn't fun. Yeah.
They're just not giving way or anything?
Well, I mean, there's like on a highway, there's fast cars and it's not made for bikes, and no one's kind of expecting bikes. You've got to be so attentive.
Yeah.
And it's not fun, but you just got to get on with it. There's not much you can do.
What was the accommodation set up for that? Were you camping and stuff all the way down?
Yeah, just camping.
Yeah. And
although I think my mum and dad ended up looking into a spot on the way there and booked me a lodge for one night. So
sick.
Yeah, I was in a lodge for one night and then just camping the other nights.
Oh, it's too good.
So they helped me out a bit there. I think they were scared of the bears.
I was about to say, like, man, people say Australia's gnarly because we've got snakes and spiders and stuff, but man, I don't want to come across a bear. Like, you can bunny hop over a snake.
Sure.
I heard a random story of you riding over some white lines that people were painting fresh and angering some people as well.
Yeah. So that was in between Sugarloaf. Burke and Sugarloaf. And I guess there were some people painting white lines on the highway. And I'm not too sure if there was a sign or not. If there was, I missed it. But I ended up biking over some lines that just painted.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I mean, there was white tire marks all over the place after that. And I passed the workers and they started going off at me. And then one of the guys was super, super mad. Got in their work ute, chased me down, pushed me off the highway. And then it was like, it was kind of next to a park. So I kind of go into the park, kind of navigating all the bushes in there, pass a pond, and to encounter like a few Canadian geese.
Yep.
And then one of them just comes at me, starts attacking me. I'm like in a full-on fight with this goose. And it was quite an eventful 5 minutes, I'd say.
It just did, yeah. Were there any times where you were just like over it?
Yeah, it was one of the times. Just wasn't feeling it at all. Yeah.
What got you through like those times, like where you're just over it? Because it's got to happen, right? Like you just got to be sick of pedaling your bike, or is that just not a thing?
No, it's definitely a thing. But I think how my mindset kind of works is that I just don't have any other option. I've got to make it there, and that's I don't let myself have another option or a choice. It's just get there or just get there. That's it. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. I guess like you just have to. So it just keeps driving you.
Yeah, exactly. Like the other thing is I don't have a B plan.
That's sick.
Like as soon as you set yourself a B plan, you've got to fall back. You can get yourself out of it. And that's not the same as saying you don't have an emergency plan. It's just like you don't have an easy way of making it easier or getting out of it.
It's not like you have 10K spare in your pocket to get to Europe and then get back to New Zealand if you want to bail out of it, right? Like you literally have that plan.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I've heard that a few times from a few people and how that's such a good driver. So it's crazy to hear you so young just saying that as well. So you come up to Sugarloaf as well. Like you did that, but like you got 10th in Whistler, 15th at Burke, and 12th at Sugarloaf. Like surely you're starting to realise that you're not just there to participate. You're actually quite up at the top end. Was that surprising to you to be so consistent?
I mean, it sounds, I mean, the numbers sound fairly good, but I'm quite, I guess, performance based. So if I don't think I did my best, I'm not that happy.
Mm.
And I think by that time I'd kind of settled into, like at first it was quite cool being, I don't know, 10th in the world, but by now I'd kind of forgotten about that. Yeah. And I was kind of wanting to develop myself and push hard, and do better. And I guess at that point it started to fall apart a bit personally.
Okay.
And I was never kind of satisfied with how I was like doing individually. It started becoming less of, I didn't compare myself to others as much.
Yeah, okay. So it was less about you and more about how others were going?
I think you just cut it out there.
Yeah.
For like a little bit.
So it was more about, like what you're saying is it was less about your own achievements and you were starting to compare them to other athletes and how good they were doing. Is that what you were kind of thinking?
No, I think it's the opposite. Like, I guess at first I was purely like, I want to be, I don't know, 10th in the world, for example. But I think I'd kind of gotten a bit comfortable with that, and I knew that was kind of maybe where I sat. And at that point, I wanted to focus on myself more individually and my own individual performance, and forget about what other people were doing. But I think being in the fatigue state I was in, that I just wasn't. It was almost impossible for me to push to my best abilities, just because I had such a huge, I don't know, buffer on what I could do if I was feeling my best.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Like, were you more trying to just beat your own results, or you were kind of struggling because you could do better, but there was this fatigue? Is that what you're kind of saying there?
I think it's basically just knowing that I could do better. And like, I'm going as hard as I can, but I'm just not doing my best. And it's like, why can't I do my best?
I mean, the simple answer is you're doing 1,500 Ks of riding between each race, but
yeah, but like in my head, nothing had changed. Like, I don't know. I don't like making excuses, and I know that's quite a good excuse, but I don't know. I want to keep a huge part of the sport for me is like pushing my abilities and like achieving things, and I find it quite hard maybe taking a step back in my performance. Like, I always want to be pushing myself as much as I can, and it's like when I'm not doing my best, it's quite hard for me.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, clearly you got the drive there, right? Like, that's pretty impressive. Do you think also, like, over that, because at that point you've been doing this for like 3 months, you've been on the road, you're like pinned. Do you think that's become the new normal? So you expect to be the normal that you were back in New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, I think living that kind of lifestyle for that long, you definitely get used to what you've got, and maybe a bit too comfortable, like with the position you're in. So I don't know. Yeah, I think you just get used to what you're in, and it's quite hard to get out of it, especially when it doesn't change. I think people are just a big influence of the things on the outside, like not just who you are, like who you're with.
Yeah,
I don't know, and where you are in the world, kind of thing.
Was it hard being in that mindset and then rocking up to races and then trying to compete? Or were you more edged on to compete, and then after the race were a little bit disappointed?
Yeah, I think I was quite good at kind of flushing out those thoughts and starting with somewhat of a blank canvas. But yeah, I found it quite hard to become satisfied at the end of each weekend, kind of knowing I did my absolute best, but I'm kind of moving backwards in terms of the season. Like, yeah, but I know that's just fatigue.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of hard to feel fatigue because it's the new normal for me.
And you're also putting in so much effort to do all this that you want your returns to increase over time, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's only getting harder. And the more effort I put in, it feels like, yeah, it's just not going towards anything.
Yeah.
And that's maybe not something I've encountered before. And I mean, it's definitely something I've kind of learned to deal with better. But it's quite hard when you've got like maybe a chance of a lifetime and it just feels like you're not fully utilizing it.
100%. Did you turn that around at any point, or was it really like with you until the end of the season?
Yeah, I'd say it was, well, that's kind of getting closer to the end of the season now. In the last block, I thought I was doing okay, but I guess the numbers next to my name didn't quite say that in terms of what I had before. So I think it was, in Switzerland. We did one stage on the Saturday.
Yep.
And I thought I did okay. And then I think I finished in like 45th. And I thought I didn't think I did that. Yeah, I mean, I thought I did quite good, to be honest. And then seeing, I think 45th next to my name, that hit me hard.
Yeah.
I was like, what have I just done?
Yeah.
How did that happen? That was something that kind of, that was hard to soak up.
But is it weird, like, I guess for everyone else watching your progress over the year, watching what you're doing, everyone's like, damn, that's a huge achievement. But then you're reducing it to the number next to your name. Like, was it hard to look at everything you've done as a whole, but when you're looking at specific race results?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely hard, and I think it's quite bad that I'm using a number to kind of justify how well I'm doing, and also letting maybe just one number kind of like stand on top of all the other numbers. Like I guess, all the when you maybe hear when you're talking about something, it's always the bad things that leave the biggest kind of mark, isn't it?
100%.
So yeah, that kind of left a big impact, and that's, I don't know, that when I'm looking back at the season, that's kind of I don't know, like not a highlight, but it stands out.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
Was it?
Yeah.
So was it harder? So at Crans, Montana, you got 30th. Was the motivation to get to Ludenville pretty hard after that? Were you kind of like, I don't really want to do it anymore, or you're still in that mindset of I've got no other choice?
Well, yes, I think for me, and if I wasn't bikepacking, I think it would have been quite hard. But in my mind, I was like, that's it. The season's kind of done. I'm done. I'm not quick anymore. So I
lost it all. Yep.
I might as well just, kind of send it on this pedal to Ludenville.
Yeah.
And make my mark that way. So, I mean, change my focus a little bit.
Yeah.
And the amount of people calling me stupid for biking to Ludenville was like off the charts. Like lots of people I look up to are telling me, just like, you're stupid, just don't do it. You're not going to make it. And I was like, I'm going to make it. You can't tell me what to do. So
you're not my mum. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I pedaled to Ludenville.
How far was Ludenville?
So that was 1,000 kilometers. And I had until Thursday to get there. Thursday, like the following week.
So like 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So 250 Ks a day. That's
yeah, basically.
And how many like meters of climbing each day and stuff was that quite hard?
Oh, I mean, it kind of depends, I think, because the first leg was in the Alps, and then the last leg was also in the Alps. The in between was quite flat.
Okay.
So I've kind of forgot, but I'd say maybe 2,000 meters at least the first leg, and 2,000 meters on the last.
Yeah,
maybe 1,000 in between.
Yeah.
So for the distance, I don't think it was too bad.
Yeah, no, that's easy. Breeze in the park.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, yeah. And in the big picture, it's not that bad. Like, I'm sure if you go biking at home, if you go to the mountain bike park, whatever, you'd do 1,000 meters of climbing, but you'd maybe do 40 kilometers.
Yeah.
Whereas I did 1,000 kilometers and maybe I did about 10,000 meters of climbing.
That's true. Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
So
what was so you Ludenville, how did that go for you?
Well, I made it there. Yeah, flogged again. Wasn't feeling amazing. Yeah, not too sure why I wasn't feeling amazing, but
yeah. I think we can work it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna send it.
Yeah.
So I think this on Saturday, stage 1, that didn't go too bad. It was super wet, super slick out, and I'm not that good in wet conditions.
Okay.
But I think I did quite good for, what I thought I may have done.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what place I finished, but
30th.
I don't think of the. I think on the Saturday I finished better, maybe 15th on stage 1. 29th. So I thought I was it 29th?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
Close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I thought I did okay. And then I thought, yeah, I'm just going to send it. And, no, it was stage 2 I did okay on, not stage 1.
23rd.
I think.
And then the final stage, 21st.
Yeah. Stage 2. I wasn't that far back off the winning time. So, like, compared to the other stages, I was still a good way back. But,
not that far.
I thought I was onto a good one, but then the third stage I fell down a bank and I got passed, and then it's like I just need to survive.
Yeah, that was the Queen stage, eh? Yeah, I was about to ask what happened there because there's a big dip in time. But
yeah, down a bank. Eh? It's like one of the annoying ones that I guess we all have. Like at some point, the bike falls down a bank and then it's all tangled up in the tape, and then your bars are twisted.
You're just trying to breathe, and yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of that in my mind. It was just finish and survive.
What was finishing that race up and knowing that you just raced the entire EWS self-sufficient bikepacking?
Yeah, I was just happy it was done. There wasn't much more to it than that.
Yep.
I wasn't even that stoked. I don't know. It didn't feel like I'd done anything special. I just done what I needed to do, and that was it. And I don't know. Yeah. I didn't care much. just happy it was over.
Were there any people coming up and congratulating you and giving you high fives and stuff? Or
I mean, yeah, a couple of people, but I don't know. It wasn't a big thing. I don't even think much of it looking back now.
That's insane. That's a huge effort, man.
I was just want to do better, and looking back now, I wish I'd gone bigger, push harder. I don't. With all the things I do, I don't have much satisfaction. I always just want to be pushing for the next thing.
That's a crazy mindset. Does that come from somewhere? Are your parents like that, or Is it just
I
something
don't
like
think so. No, I don't know.
you just
Yeah,
build,
I don't know where I got that.
just built different?
Maybe.
So I asked if you had all the cooking gear on you and stuff on your bike and meals and stuff, but how are you kind of like fueling yourself throughout these trips? Like obviously you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, touching on the cooking gear, that I didn't use that once.
Yes,
that was a waste of time. Yeah, waste of time and weight. I could have saved a couple kg with not taking that one. But yeah. So I guess I was by myself with an expensive bike, and the places I'd never been before. So it's basically number one on my list was to not get my bike stolen.
Ideal.
Yeah, for sure. So I was only going to gas stations like in the middle of nowhere, like out on a highway or motorway, somewhere where there'd be no opportunists or like, a low percentage of opportunists. And yeah, so I was just eating gas station food for 5 months.
So
basically
athlete diet, like was what you're saying there. Just pure
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and I've had a lot of people tell me I need to eat actual food, which I mean, I'm not saying no to that. But when you're doing these huge distances and spending 20 hours on a bike at a time, I think the only way to get enough energy is by eating, lollies, fizzy, and just pure sugar foods. Because otherwise, if you're eating, I don't know, even pasta, which is considered a carb food, your stomach's not big enough to take that volume of food to meet the energy needs.
Yeah. You just need pure carbs and sugar. Like that's
exactly.
it. Just drink Coke and pedal on.
Yeah, exactly. Liquid carbs is like the best thing ever. It's the easiest way to stomach carbs. Yeah, big fan of it. I even had a Coke bottle, like a Coke holder on my bike at one point.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Yeah.
How was that?
So stoked with it.
How did you set that up?
So the other pair of guys who bike packed the first 2 EWSs, one of them owns like a small company called Jan Components.
Okay.
That makes these weird adapters and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, he hooked me up with a Coke can holder.
That's sick. Like obviously that's got to be kind of expensive though. Like gas station food isn't always cheap.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think I would have saved quite a bit of money because I mean I wasn't eating actual food. Like if you go to the supermarket, you buy a sandwich or something. It's it quickly adds up as well.
So you weren't eating like meat pies or anything weird?
No. I'm also veggie. I don't eat any meat, so kept things fairly simple for me. I just don't have many options. Just pick the thing that has the most carbs in it, and off you go.
I mean, your chances of food poisoning or any type of illness are drastically reduced then as well, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I think I only got sick a couple of times, and I guess that's just because I ate too much sugar. Yeah. But I think that's quite good, only being sick, twice.
That's impressive, man. And were you like a full bivvy and lightweight camping setup and everything as well?
Well, at the start, I had quite a hefty tent.
Yeah.
And I honestly preferred not to use it.
Okay.
So I just like sleep in my sleeping bag out in the open. But then when I got to Canada, and with help of the GoFundMe money, I invested in a good bivvy.
Yeah.
Bivvy helped me out a bit. So it saved a lot of weight and space in my bags. So it was quite a good investment.
100%. How many tires did you go through in this?
So I had one pair of slicks that I used, and then for all the EWSs, I was basically just using all the old team tires they just chuck out at the end of the weekend. So yeah, I just go up to a team and say, hey, are you taking off any tyres this weekend? Could I please dibs a set? And most of the time they're happy because they're just going to go in the bin otherwise. So
That's
I think
sick.
lots of people are happy to help my cause.
So you just throwing you ride a race on those tyres, just leave them there.
Yeah, and then I go and pick them up.
And then you throw your slicks on, go to the next race, pick up their old tyres.
Yeah.
And then you leave them.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick.
And in the USA and Canada, I didn't have enough weight to take my slicks with me. So I was just cutting the knobs off the downhill tyres. Well, no, at first I wasn't. At first I used the same set of tyres for all the EWSs. But then I was going to pedal Sugarloaf back to the airport in Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
So then I decided to cut the knobs off. But in the midst of that, I slipped with the knife and managed to cut the vein in my hand.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, I fainted and ended up next door on the doorstep of Slavomir Lukaszik's place.
Yeah.
He walked out and found me on his doorstep with my hand just bleeding. So it was quite eventful. And I took that as a sign not to pedal to the airport that day.
Yeah, I think that's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I got saved, who knows? But yeah, I was basically just doing whatever I could to have efficiency when I could.
Yeah. He's so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, he saved me that day, to be honest. I don't know what would have happened if he didn't walk out on me.
If you're just bleeding and fainting, that's never a good sign.
Yeah, not a good combo, is it?
No, especially not in the US or anything like that.
No.
Go to a hospital there and there's your...
Yeah, I made sure that wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just taped it back up.
Jesus. What was it like getting home and being back at home and sleeping in your own bed? And was it kind of weird?
Or? Oh, I think it was so weird. It's so weird just being able to, I don't know, stay in the same place, not have to go anywhere the next day. And I don't know, it almost sucks because I'm so used to doing something all the time now that if I'm not, I'm just so active. My mind always wants to do something. So as soon as I don't do anything, it's not that fun. It's not good for my mental health, I guess, because I'm just what do I do?
Yeah, you just want to be pinned.
Start thinking of things and just
What?
So I kind of need to taper down off that somewhat.
Oh, 100%. What are you kind of doing these days then? As you get back, are you working? You're at school? You're just riding your bike? What are you kind of doing when you're back in New Zealand now?
Yeah, I don't know. Working a bit, biking a bit, and doing some missions. And we're coming back into our season now, so
okay.
There's still quite a few events going on. Next weekend is quite a big one for me. It's an EWS qualifier.
Okay.
So we hopefully get some points next year.
Because junior points don't carry over or something weird like that from last year.
I don't know. I think it all helps though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't say no to points. So, yeah. I'll just chase them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then next month on the 10th, I'm getting a plate out of my hand. So that's going to knock me off my bike for about 8 weeks, I think. So then that's going to be quite hard to work out what to do with my life.
I think
find another hobby.
You'll be surprised, man. Getting plates out doesn't take that bad of a time. It's actually pretty chill.
Oh, sweet. That's good to hear.
Yeah. I had a few taken out last year and it was the healing was ridiculously fast. I was 4 weeks and back on a bike. It was sweet.
That's good news, man.
Yeah. It's way better than getting them put in.
Yeah. Perfect.
So obviously you still would deviate for this upcoming season stuff. After all this hype and seeing you on the bike and seeing your dedication stuff, was there a few brands interested in contacting you and getting involved, wanting to help out for next year? Or
Yeah. So as mentioned, Deviate have been awesome, and I'm going to sit with them for the next 2 years.
sick.
And yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit going on at the moment, and I've kind of decided I'm going to kind of go down the path of building up my own, I don't know what you'd call it, my own team, if you like, but with just me in it.
Your own program.
Yeah, exactly. Building my own pathway. So yeah, kind of building that up at the moment. So not too sure where it's going to end up, but yeah, I think I'm gonna continue this bike packing thing and see where it takes me, because no one else has kind of done exactly what I've done before, and it's not often you find something new on the sport. So I might as well see how far I can take it, and it might fail, but it might not, and you never know.
I think that's cool. Did you have like team offers and stuff like that, or was it you just want to run your own thing anyway? So
I mean, no, I didn't have any team offers, but I didn't go looking for anything as well. I kind of thought it would be cool doing my own thing.
100%.
So, yeah.
How did the Deviate thing come about? Like, they're a pretty lesser known brand here in Oz. What are they like in NZ? And
yeah, I think even smaller in New Zealand. But yeah, while overseas, I managed to kind of link them up with someone a bit more active in the New Zealand wholesale scene, I guess you could call it. So
yeah,
there's someone new getting Deviate bikes into New Zealand, and it's kicking off quite large here now, which is super cool to see.
They look sick. They look like a bunch of fun.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you saw, but the pink bike field test, they killed that, and yeah, it's done them wonders, and it showed that it's a good bike. It showed I've got no excuses either. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bit of a random one, but I just noticed you had AXS on your bike.
Yeah.
How are you charging batteries and keeping that thing going?
Well, I quickly learned in the beginning that was an issue.
Yep.
Yeah, I completely forgot about this until you've just mentioned it now. So the leg of Tweed Valley to Slovenia, it died halfway in.
Yep.
So I did that single speed.
Jeez. Yep. Was it in a good gear, or was it just?
Oh, well, there's no such thing as a good gear in single speed in my mind. It's either you're like pedaling too quick on the flat, or it's just way too hard on the hills.
Yep.
And yeah, there's nothing good.
How did you just get like another battery like later on? Like, how did it?
Oh, I managed to charge it up once I got there, but yeah, it was dead. But after that, I got a charger and a solar powered power bank.
Oh, sick! Yep.
Had it on a bit of a cycle after that one. Learned my lesson.
Did you need to like get different plugs for every country you went in? I think Europe's pretty much the same.
Yeah, well, with the solar powered power bank, it was fairly solid. It's just USB and it stays the same. You don't need to plug it in, but yeah, I think I only needed new plugs when I went over to USA and Canada. Yeah.
What was the biggest like country with the most culture shock, you reckon, that you had?
I think the USA.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, there's some wild people there.
Yeah.
And I think the places we went were quite out the back as well.
Yeah, okay.
I think some of those people don't see many other people. Yeah, I think that's the best way of wording it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very solitary. Yep.
Yeah, and like walk into the supermarket and then someone's just got a gun hanging onto their waist belt. That was also, it was quite eye-opening to me.
Yeah. That's a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your plans for next year? Same thing?
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, bike pack them all where possible. I'm hoping to kind of be able to pull enough funding together to document the whole thing and film it. focus a bit more on the media side of things this year, or this coming year.
Just self-film it, or?
I'm hoping to get a team to kind of be able to follow me, because I think self-filming it could end up being a bit fake. Like you wouldn't want to film yourself when you're having a hard time, and it wouldn't be genuine. I think you need someone to be able to film you when you just don't want them to film you. Essentially.
100%. Yeah. Dude, that would be sick. I'd watch that for sure. Was one like, would you do like a series, or would you do like one big video?
Yeah, I think I'd do it per block.
Yeah, okay.
I think there'd be quite a bit to squeeze together if it was one video.
It'd be huge. It'd be like, a 3-hour
you might miss
documentary.
us. Yeah. I mean, there's like, even just us talking now, I'm sure there's so many things we've missed.
Oh, 100%.
So much stuff has happened. So yeah, I think it'd be cool to make some episodes and get as much in there as we can.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I want to see footage of geese chasing it. I'm spewing that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I wish I should have got my phone out, But,
oh, dude. Yeah. Rad. We might start wrapping things up then.
Yeah, sweet.
What advice would you have to any younger crew that, I guess, want to go racing or want to do something like this? Or
I think there's always a way to make something happen. Like there's, if you want to do something, just go do it, make it happen, and do what you need to do to make it happen. There's always a way, I think. Yeah, don't let anything hold you back. Just get out there, smash it.
I'm a big fan of saying yes and then working out the rest later. Like it's
exactly. I think it's a big part of New Zealand and Aussie's culture. You just deal with that stuff later. Just get on with it. Yeah, big fan of it.
Was there anything you regretted on your trip?
I don't think so. Yeah, quite a few people have asked me that question, and I've never been able to think of anything. I think I did quite well, and there was lots of educated guessing, and I guess you learn quite a bit along the way, but there's never anything I wish I could go back and change. I think I did quite well, and managed to pull it together quite nicely.
Yeah, sick. You mentioned this a few times already, but I'll ask anyway. If you're down and out, say you wake up and you don't want to do that 500k day up in the Alps or something, is there any music or anything you'd listen to get motivated? What kind of motivated you to keep going if you were fully down and out?
I don't think motivation was ever an issue, just because I didn't let it become an option.
Yeah.
The whole thing, I didn't give myself the choice of not to give up. I just had to do it. And I think you just need to not give yourself a way out of whatever task you're doing. Yeah. You've got to get it done, and there's no other option.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it done, you're going to be worse off, because you're going to be stuck in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think, also the power of words as well.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't let a single negative thought come into your head. You can't speak a single negative word to yourself. It's always, I don't know. It's not, I don't know, if you're talking about distance, it's like, I've only got this far to go. It might be a huge amount, but it's only this far. Instead of, I don't know how else you'd word it.
Oh shit! I've still got 500 Ks, or I've still got 400 Ks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to be so careful with how you think. Or just don't give yourself the opportunity to think. You've just got to zone out and blank. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's a big skill.
Dude, there's so many people that don't have it. And at 17 or 18, for you to, honestly, it blown me away a little bit, just how good your attitude and your mental awareness is. It's so good. So I'm stoked I got to chat with you.
Cheers.
Easy, man. Well, I better let you get bed. It's probably getting late there. So thanks so much for coming on, man. As I said, I really appreciate it. I'll been blown away by all your stories and your attitude. So, yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, it's been good chatting to you.
There we go. That was an absolutely rad episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Matt is honestly a different level. He's wired differently. He's a different type of human, and it was really, really good to chat with him. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Trek, NS Dynamics, Tailored Trails, Lead Out Sports, Franked, where you can use Beyond the Tape 10 to get a discount, Dirt Surfers, Crush, and Fist. Some of those, like Fist as well, if you use Beyond the Tape, you get a bit of a discount. I think it's Dirt Surfers, it's the same. Anyway, if you want to support the podcast, head over to beyondtape.com and grab some merch. You can buy coffee and donate randomly there as well. If you don't donate financially or you can't afford to, I know how it goes. Just share the podcast with anyone you possibly can. That'd be amazing. Your dad, your dog, your nana, whoever. Share the podcast around, like it, subscribe to it, and just do all the cool things. Thanks so much for listening, and until next one, have a bunch of fun.